So, yeah, so some things I have learned this year have completely changed my orientation to setting goals. And so that's why I thought, you know what, I shouldn't be the only person that knows these things, right? Because I'm not the only person that should be winning. Everyone should actually be winning. So I thought to myself, I'm going to teach these things that I have learned so that, we can all apply them. And this is a combination of things I've learned from Dr. David Imonitie, John C. Maxwell, some other people that I listen to, some other, videos that I've watched, some other things that I've done that has also helped me to actually learn this new method of setting goals. Number one, guys, the first thing I want to teach you is the 6 steps to setting goals. All right. And now during the course of this training, we're going to actually start setting our goals right here because it's a few hours to the new year.
That's so nice.
It's a few hours to the new year, and I would want us to actually, even if it's a rough sketch, right? You're just doing some jottings, maybe some things are just popping in, right? I learned several things that I want to share with you guys. So I'm looking at my notes actually because I took note of these things that I learned, and I'm going to be sharing them with you. So now, first thing you need to know is that there are 6 steps to setting goals. Okay, I listened to an audio by Dr. David Imonitie, right? And you're going to see I drew like a pyramid or a triangle here, right? I drew a triangle here. And, that triangle, at the top of this triangle is the goal I had. And to the sides of the triangle, right, I had here the industry that's going to make me this money, and then the vehicle, which is the company. And then at the bottom of the triangle is me, because, every of these things rest on you. Every single thing about your goals, right, revolves around you. You being able to achieve your goals, everything, you are the base, you are the foundation of your ability to achieve your goals. And so we're going to be talking about, first, I'm going to be listing out the 6 steps to setting goals. Now, we had a private training with my mentor, Dr. David Imonitie, and he shared some very, very insightful points, right? The very first thing he said before he even gave us the steps to setting goals. Number one, the first thing he said that hits me, I wrote it, that's the very first thing he said. You don't set goals to hit goals. You set goals to grow into the person that accomplishes those goals. Did you catch that? Please, whatever it is I'm sharing with you here, take note of it. Take note of it because you are going to begin to connect the dots in the course of this training, right? You don't set goals to smash them. You set goals to become the person that accomplishes those goals. And on your journey, you will always need 2 things. You will always need inspiration and you will always need information, right? You cannot accomplish anything great without inspiration. You need to always stay inspired. Now, you see, one of the things I also did this year was evaluate some of the things that held me back. And I realized that my inspiration came from within. I'm a self-inspired person, but that inspiration is short-lived because it is controlled by my emotions, right? And so when I swing into a bad mood, I'm no longer inspired. How many of you can relate? When you swing into a bad mood, you are no longer inspired, right? Because something internally, something attached to your emotions has affected your inspiration. And so you're not pushed, you don't find the push to actually keep going because your inspiration is from within. it's not a bad thing to be inspired from within, but you also need to have external inspiration. And that is now where creating an environment that inspires you from outside is also very, very important. So that's one thing I'm going to work on this year, right? That's one thing I'm going to work on this year, right? I'm going to work on external inspiration because I've realized that my internal inspiration cannot keep me going for as long as I want. I need to stay inspired, and that's what I'm going to work on this year as well. So 6 steps to setting goals. Number 1, guys, you must write the goal down. Now, a lot of you, and a lot of us, let me not say a lot of you, but a lot of us, we have goals written out, but I'm going to teach you a more interesting way to actually refine the way you set your goals. Truth of the matter is you should have just one goal. And that's, if your goal is money, then it should be how much of money do you want to have made by the end of the year? That should be your goal. Now, I'll tell you where the other things you think are your goals will fall into. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is write down that one goal and make sure you become obsessed about it. Because whatever you obsess about is what actually impacts your feelings and your ability to create that thing, right? If you tell me, what example am I going to use now? If, for example, I have several things on my table. I have this diary, I have my journal, I have several things here. But if you tell me, look at that bottle of water, what's my focus on? Amidst all the things here, what's my focus going to be on? The bottle of water, because you've drawn my attention to that. And so, whatever it is you've written down, you've set to be your goal, you must become obsessed about it, right? You must become obsessed about it. You must make it an obsession. And so how do you do that? You must write your goals 10 times daily. And that is why I bought this gratitude journal. It's going to allow me, if you don't have a gratitude journal, it's fine if you don't have a gratitude journal, but you must get a notebook or something that serves as your journal. I'm going to write my goals 10 times daily, and I'm going to, at the bottom here, write everything I'm grateful for every single day. You must always stay in a state of gratitude, right? And how do you write your goals? Don't forget how to write your goals. You write your goals by already stating that it is already done, right? I'm so happy and grateful now. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am, or I have earned, or that I earned, or I made $100,000 by December 31st, 2023, if that's your goal. That's not my goal anyways, right? Mine is higher. So, I'm so happy and grateful now, okay? Now, another thing you also need to take note of is, wherever it is that you found yourself right now, or whatever accomplishments you eventually, get, do not forget what you did to get whatever results that you got, okay? Do not forget whatever it is you did to get the results that if you begin to see some progress, or you begin to see some sort of results, do not, the mistake a lot of people make is that they make a little bit of success, or they see a little bit of success, and they now feel like they've arrived. They have, forgetting what helped them get there. And that's where you see people now begin to decline, whatever term you want to use. That's where you now begin to see those things happen to them, and they fall out of it. out of place. All right. So you want to make sure you don't forget these things. Now, number 2 step is you must have a date of completion. You must what? You must have a date of completion. Okay? Having a date of completion means that you must put a timeline. Now, one thing I also learned from Dr. David is that you don't want to set your date of completion out of fear, right? And you don't want your date of completion to put you under pressure. Because remember, whatever you have written is already done, right? So even if you pass that date of completion, you are still continuously working towards it. Okay? You're still continuously working towards it. And you must never change the date, even if the date has passed. You must never change the date, even if the date has passed. Okay? So now, you're now going to ensure that you have what? You have a game plan as to how you intend to achieve that goal. But that's like the 5th step. Let's not jump the steps. Great. Now, the 3rd step to setting goals is you must list the obstacles. Yes. What are the things that are likely going to stop you from achieving your goals? Do you know that is one way to actually ensure that, one of the things you must always do is you must always be honest to yourself. The minute you begin to lie to yourself, you start to fail. You must always be honest to yourself. You see the way I told you that my own issue, what I'm going to work on this year is having external inspiration, because my internal inspiration cannot keep me inspired for as long as I desire. I can be inspired for a while, maybe a month. But I mean, what happens when something ticks me off? Because the going is not always going. But you need to stay inspired regardless. Right? And how am I doing that? You see this, my gratitude journal that I'm going to be writing my goals on every day is one of the ways that's going to help keep me inspired. Every day I must write my goals 10 times, and I must write things that I'm grateful for on a daily basis, because gratitude is the seed for more. So some people are just texting me for a minute. I'm such a nice person. Else I won't be sending link by this time. Now, listing the obstacles. Gratitude is the seed for more. Gratitude is the seed for more. Okay? Now, listing the obstacles. What are the likely obstacles? Number 1, lack of consistency. Oh my days. Consistency is the number 1. Lack of consistency is an obstacle to your goals. You need to write it, right? And one thing Dr. David said was people who lack consistency are people who are focused on the now. Consistency requires that you have the end in mind kind of mindset. When they say begin with the end in mind, right? And I'm going to teach you when I'm practically showing you how you're going to set your goals, right? You must have that mindset that carries the end goal in mind all the time. The people who lack consistency are people who are focused on what is happening in their immediate environment at the moment. Those are the people who lack consistency. Because if you know what your future says, if you believe in your future, you will not lack consistency. Number 2, list of obstacles is negative self-talk. Some people know how to talk themselves out of stuff. Like the belief you have in yourself is so little. is minus, like you don't believe in yourself. The way you doubt things around you, or the way you doubt that good things can happen to you, you negatively talk yourself out of doing the right things. You negatively talk yourself out of taking that next step. You negatively talk yourself out of doing the activity or the thing that you're meant to do. Negative self-talk, right? And so how do you overcome all these things? Writing it down helps, right? Infuse speaking your goals into, whatever it is that you're doing. If you're having a conversation with someone, if you're having a presentation, if you're trying to pick someone's interest, if you're trying to chip it in, oh, we're working on a project and that project is going to create 26-figure earners. That's part of my goals, right? That's part of my goals. So imagine you now making it a part of you such that even when you're having conversations with people, normal conversations, you find ways to chip it in because you're trying to make sure that that is your obsession. Remember what I said about your obsession. Now, negative self-talk, your mind. And what happens in your mind? Thoughts. Where do thoughts come from? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know where thoughts come from? Do you know? Where? Where do thoughts come from? There are 3 places where thoughts come from. No? 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 Okay, someone is getting it. Okay, some people are actually getting it little by little. Thoughts come from 3 places. Number 1, God. Number 2, the devil. And number 3, your 5 senses. So people that said, what you see, what you hear, you were in line, actually. People that said your eyes, your ears, and environment, you were already speaking in line with part of it. Thoughts come from 3 places: God, the devil, and your 5 senses. And you see, your 5 senses is what you have control over, your environment. And that's why the things you speak, the things you listen to, the things you see are very, very important. It affects your mind, right? And the way you carry yourself is also very important. No matter what room it is you walk into, when you walk into that room, you are a winner. And that's what you speak for yourself. So if you know that you are a winner, no matter where it is that you walk into, you are walking in there as a winner. No matter the room, if you like, let's be filled with the most negative of people. So long as you are walking into that place, you are a winner. Okay? Now, one thing you also need to take note of is the way you feel and speak about yourself is what people will feel and see when they meet you. You need to work on your self-image. You need to work on your self-image. You need to work on your self-image. You need to brand yourself. What do people see when they see you, when they hear you speak, when they meet you? Are you an inspiration? Do you inspire people? What do you do that inspires them? Check. Are you an inspiration to people? All right, so now you have to list the challenges, right? List the obstacles, right? And create solutions. Now, what solutions are you creating? For example, if you know you are lazy, you have to create an affirmation that overcomes laziness. If you know you lack consistency, you need to create an affirmation that overcomes your lack of consistency. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm the most consistent person in my team. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm strong, that I have all the energy I need to smash my goals today. You need to attack it. Everything possibly that can stop you, attack it with positivity. Now, the fourth step to setting goals is who you listen to and who you work with. This is a very, very crucial part. Whoever it is that you listen to, your future is determined by who you have chosen to listen to. You must be very careful, because whatever goes into your ears goes directly into your heart. And so that's why we say your future. That statement is very, very deep. You need to think about it deeply. Your future is determined by who you have decided. You don't just stumble on someone and say they are my mentor. When you say someone is your mentor, you have decided to listen to whatever it is that they say. Your mentor is not someone who advises you. Your mentor is the advice that you take. Is the person that whatever they tell you is what you take. You don't talk yourself into decisions. You discuss with your mentor and they tell you, because they are in a position, and your mentor must be someone who has the results that you're looking for, right? So there are qualifications for choosing a mentor. You have to qualify your mentor. Is this someone you can trust? And is this someone that has the results that you want? Those are the two qualities your mentors must have. Is your mentor someone you can trust? Or your mentor is someone that has the results that you want? You must pick your mentor very carefully, because that person determines your future. It's very deep. It is very, very deep. And so you need to also look at the type of person your mentor is. What are their morals? What are their principles? What are the values that they, all of these things. I'm very careful. I don't just pick and say, oh, this is my mentor. My upline is not my mentor. Do you know? The person who signed me up is not my mentor. I have a mentor that's higher than my upline. Okay? So, number 4 step is who you listen to and who you work with. You need to communicate with your coach or mentor every single day. In smashing your goals, communication is key. Communication is key. If you go a week, 2 weeks without talking to your mentor or coach, then that relationship is done. That person is no longer your mentor, and you're most likely no longer their mentee. And how do you acquire mentorship? Do you know that you don't force mentorship? It's not by calling somebody your mentor that makes them your mentor. They might just be looking at you and smiling. You're not their mentee. You earn it. Nope, you don't seek consent. You earn mentorship. You attract mentorship. I attracted my mentor. You attract mentorship. Because even sometimes you can ask for their consent. Oh, can you mentor me? And they may not accept to mentor you. Now, I'm going to tell you how you attract mentor. You know what they call notice me? That is what will make you attract a mentor. Now, how did I attract my mentor? I won't say noisiest, but most active on the go. Ready to serve every time I'm the person that you can call in the middle of the night and you will trust that whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to get it done. Whatever it is you're asking of me, I have a way to find a way to get it done. You need to submit yourself to service. That's how you attract mentorship. All right? You attract mentorship by your attitude, by your character, by your positive mental attitude, by your work ethics. You attract mentorship by having a pleasing personality and by being teachable and coachable. That's how you attract mentorship. Okay? Number 5th step is you must plan your work. Yes, that's where we're going to next. You must plan your work. You must plan your work. You must plan your work. Now, what does it mean? The activities that you are going to be doing on a daily basis. I call them daily essentials. Okay? Activities that you must do, whether you feel like it or not. If you like, find out that morning that you just got pregnant or that your girlfriend just got pregnant. You must do it. Those activities, we call them daily essentials, right? Plan your calendar. Plan how you are going, like have a map, a blueprint of exactly where you will be and what you will be doing every single day, every single month of the year. I already know where I'm going to be in March. I know where I'm going to be in April. I know where I'm going to be in July. These are some of the months I'm traveling. That's why I know. I'm going to be in Lagos at some point, right? You know, I already have a mental picture of where it is I'm going to be, what it is I'm going to be doing, the kind of activities that I will be engaged in. Number 6 step is you must set a goal for how much will be in your bank accounts. This is not, after all said and done, how much is going to be looking at you in your bank account by December 31st, 2023. This is not how much you made for the year. That's your goal. How much you made, how much you make in the entire year is your goal. But how much will be sitting pretty in your bank accounts, untouched, by the end of the year? Those are the 6 steps to setting goals. Now, in goal setting, there are 4 parts. There's the goal. I've started now to teach you, we're entering the practical aspect of setting goals. In goal setting, there are 4 parts. The goal itself. Usually, your goal should be one thing. That's what sums up every other thing. Because that one thing, if you, for example, I'm so happy and grateful now that I earned $250,000 by December 31st, 2023. If I make that money, am I going to be able to buy a car? Am I going to be able to build a house, buy a property? Am I going to be able to travel on vacation? Those are some of the things that are probably in your goals, right? But you see, that one goal of earning 250K clears the other things. So again, the end is you begin with the end in mind. The end in mind is that you in the year made XYZ amount of money. So that's the goal. One goal. Now, John C. Maxwell talked about the 3 R's. The 3 R's. And that's where I would ask the first thing in the 3 R's, right? What is required of me? Number one R, right? So the 4 parts, goals are divided into 4 parts. The goal itself. Then the second part is what is required of me. What are the activities and what are the everyday essentials that I need to do, that I need in order to smash this goal? Then the third part is what will be my great return, the achievements, right? For example, okay, so let's talk about what is required of me. Everyday essentials, activities. I'm sorry for those of you that might not be in the network marketing industry. I'm going to, use some of my examples are going to be related to network marketing. But you can also relate it to whatever it is your industry is, whatever it is that you're doing at the moment. You can actually pick these things. They are basic principles that you can apply anywhere. Okay, now daily essentials for 2022. This was what I had for my daily essentials. I don't know if you can see my screen, but I had 10 daily essentials, right? These were the activities that I performed every day. This thing, right? I had 10 of them every single day, right? These were the activities that I was doing every day. You can have just 4. You can have just 2. You can have 3, 5, 6. It all depends on you. Your daily essentials are things that you cannot compromise on these things on a daily basis. My first on my list is I pray. The second thing I have on my list is listen to my mentor, David Imonite. I must look for an audio, a video, or something. I must listen because he is also a voice that I have chosen to listen to. And it's very intentional of me having that on my daily essential. Number 3 is mindset money. It's on my daily essential. It's something I don't miss, right? Number 4, I must follow up on some of my prospects. It's a daily essential for me. I have a time on my daily routine that is for follow-ups. Number 5, I must do my affirmations. Everyday essentials. Yes. Number 6, I must prospect. I must find new prospects, people to share my opportunity with, to market or sell my product or my service, or people to invite to come and partner in my business. I must prospect new people every single day. Number 7 or 6, one-on-one presentation. I must have a one-on-one presentation with a high-profile prospect, someone whom requires me to give them a one-on-one presentation. I do a one-on-one presentation every day. Number 7, I must speak to my team. Different people in my team on different days. Number 8, I must do a team presentation. So for people in my team who have prospects that they want to put on a presentation, I hold a presentation for them every day. And number 10, I must post on my social media, WhatsApp status, Instagram story. That's why you can never see my status empty. You must see rings. It's a daily essential. Now, I've been able to break down my goal. These are the things that are going to help me actually smash 250K by the end of the year. But I need to do them every day. And I learned something from John Maxwell. He said, it's not about, activity is not always accomplishment. And it's about consistency, not intensity. So I've seen situations where people prospect like 20 people today, do 30 tomorrow, but next week, they're either doing 2 or 0. Consistency, not intensity. Make sure that that sticks. Consistency is, if you're doing 2, make sure it is 2 every single day for the rest of the year. If it's 5, let it be 5 consistently. Don't pressure yourself. You're not in competition with anybody. Everybody will get there at their own pace. Everybody has their different goals according to how it suits you, according to your power, your strength. Okay? So that's the second part of goal setting, the activities, right? Your everyday essentials, right? And the things that are going to help you accomplish. So for example, still under what is required of me, this year, I have set a goal for myself to personally recruit 200 customers into my business. I'm starting a 90-day game plan. And on my first 90 days, I want to have done 60. And then the remaining part of the year, I will do 140. Now, another thing you need to know about your goals is that if your goals don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Your goals must be massive. But again, still realistic. Okay, now the third part is, what will be my great return? What will be your achievements? What are the things you're going to achieve? For example, it could be rank recognition. For example, you could end up becoming a diamond, an executive, depending on the company you're in, a chairman, whatever. Or if you're in a business or a 9-to-5 person, what is it that you would have achieved? Is it an award? Is it an incentive? What are the achievements you will get? List out all your achievements. So I'm sure you've probably set a long list of goals. Some of those goals, some will go under what is required of me. Some of them fit that portion. Some of them will fit the portion of what will be your great return, which is your achievements. For example, the ranks, how many ranks you want to break, how many 6-figure earners, how many 5-figure earners, how many this you want to produce. Those are achievements, achievements, achievements. How many leaders do you want, in the convention? How many people do you want to be taking presentations? How many people do you want to have gotten to a particular level? How many champions? How many this? How many that? Those are the achievements. Now, what are your great rewards? What are your great rewards? This is now the projects that you're going to be able to afford to do, because you have smashed those goals, because you have done the activities, right? Because you have the great return, the achievements. What are the rewards? What are the things you're going to now? So that's where buying a car, buying a house, buying a new phone, changing your wardrobe, going on a trip, those trivial things, or putting my mom, giving a check of 5 million naira to my dad, or building a house for my parents, or retiring those are now the rewards. So one goal, but can you see that everything else is under that goal? That's how you do it right. And every time you feel like you've missed your step, guess where you are retracing back to? What is required of me? Your everyday essentials and the target you have set for yourself. If you are a salesperson that needs to maybe for you to achieve that goal of making $100,000 at the end of the year. You need to have sold. You need to have sold maybe 5,000 of your commodities or your goods, right? You know the profit margin, you would have done your calculation. For you to have done that, you need to have sold. Now, inside what is required of me is where you would also give yourself the timeline of by so date, I should have done this. By so time, I should have done this. By so bam, all those things, right? I should have recruited this amount of, I should have sold this amount of products. I should have been able to ship this. I should have been able to secure this contract by so time. Those are all activities. Those are all the things that are required of you for you to do towards that peak goal at the top. Do you understand? Does it make sense? Now, this might be, some people, might be a lot of information. You might need to listen to this again, and that's why I've recorded this session. And I don't want it to be too long because I don't want the recording to be too long. But these are the steps. I've given you the 6 steps, and I've given you the 4 different categories that your goal board should look like, should have. The goal itself, the activities required of you, the agenda that helps you achieve the goal. Then what are the achievements you will get? For example, I mean, if in my first 90 days, I sign up 60 people personally, I'm going to end up as nothing less than a Ruby in my company, right? A Ruby in my company. So I already know the achievements that activity is going to give me. And in the course of doing that, I've made some money, which is going to count towards my goal of $250,000 for that year. Somewhere along the line, I have rewards, things I'm going to reward myself with, things I need to acquire, either assets or liabilities. Does it make sense? Guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat box. Let me know in the chat box. Now, I'm also going to tell you, I'm also going to tell you about 9 questions you need to ask yourself. 9 questions you need to ask yourself. The 3 R's: what is required of me? What will be my great return? And what will be my great reward? The 9 questions you need to ask yourself right now as we're winding down this year. Number 1 question, 9 questions to ask yourself. Number 1 is, what made me proud? What made you proud? The second question you need to ask yourself and reflect on is, what did I learn? What did you learn? I learned a lot. I'm still writing some of the things I learned. I learned so much. I learned that in network marketing anyways. First thing I learned is never neglect building wide because of building deep. I learned that. Another thing I learned is my future is determined by who I have chosen to listen to. I mentioned that earlier. Number 3 thing I learned, everything rises and falls on leadership. Another thing I learned is that loyalty is to a leader and not to a company. And then another thing I learned is patience, mentoring people at their own pace. Another thing I learned, a stretched mind can never go back to its original form. Like if you enter a G-Wagon, you don't want to enter a Toyota Camry again, ever. When you enter a Camry after entering a G-Wagon, you feel very uncomfortable. you'll be like, is this a car? A stretched mind can never go back to its original because you've seen and felt what it feels like. Know what it feels like to be in a G-Wagon. You will not feel good in a Camry anymore. But before entering a G-Wagon, the first time you enter the Camry, you're like, oh man, this is your car needs. Right? Another thing I learned is consistency over intensity, and that the quality of leader that I am is determined by the quality of leaders, or rather, the quality of leader that I am determines the quality of leaders that I attract. I also learned the trifactor of success, which is priorities, focus, and action. I learned everyday essentials, which I have taught you. And I also learned that in everything that happens around me, I must never play as a pawn, because everything is like a game of chess. And that wealth is in an instruction. I learned that on a stock. And that's what made me realize that, you know what, I don't need to question my mentors. I don't need to second guess anything my mentor is telling me. I don't need to argue. I just need to do, because wealth is in an instruction. Guess who I learned it from? Gary McSween. Gary McSween today is the highest earning networker in the whole of Envision. And this is the person that listens to David without question. That's the person that he said it that before he used to be slow to do what his mentor asked him to do. But since he actually started applying speed, anytime his mentor says do this, he doesn't question, he doesn't even try to make sense of it. He just goes ahead to do it without questioning. That was when he realized that wealth is it. He realized that he started making more money. And so that's what I want. I want to make more money. So wealth is an instruction, and I'm always going to follow. Yeah. You don't set goals just to accomplish them. You set goals to stretch yourself. Yes. And the quality of questions you ask improve the quality of your life, because successful people always ask better questions, and hence they get better answers and better results. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the end of this training, and I hope that this has helped you. You know, you might take a few days into 2023, you know, to really dwell on these things. My notes have been full. These past few days, I've been writing a lot. I've answered all my 9 questions, my 9 questions for, for reflecting on my year. And, you know, oh yeah, I don't think I finished the question. Oh yes, I stopped at what did I learn? Yes, number 3 is who did I lead? Number 4 is what held me back? What held me back? I wrote them, all the vices that held me back. I wrote them down. Yeah, oh yeah. Never again. Number 5, do I still love what I do? Do you? Answer now. Do you still love what you do? So you need to ask yourself that number 5 question, right? Yes, if you don't love it, quit. Because if you don't quit, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your mentor's time. Quit. You'll quit anyways if you don't love it. So quit and find what you love. Or if you're willing to still give it a shot, find out what you first fell in love with and see if you can reconnect with it and reenact that love. you need to always, you need to also evaluate your love for what you do. And that's why I like this number 5 question. It's a very, very serious question. Number 6, am I willing to pay the price? Again, this is for people that have actually done stuff before. So maybe you did some things that gave you some results, and you're about to go at it again. You need to also evaluate if you're willing to do it again this new year. Number 7 is, what is most important right now? What are the things that you have placed priorities on? And number 8 is, what do I need to change? You need to ask yourself that. What do you need to change? What are the habits, the routines, all of that stuff? What do you need to change? Number 9 is, what is my word for the year? My word for this new year is miracles and abundance. All right, guys. That's it, guys. It's a wrap. And I do hope that this was highly valuable to you. I do hope that you learned a lot and that this really, really, really does help you to ensure you set better goals. Your goals are more realistic. You're well within your capacity. You know your strengths. You know what it is you like. You're doing these things because you have more clarity, right? It's not just because, oh, everybody's setting goals, oh, everybody's trying to do this, everybody's doing that. No, you're going to ask yourself for some intricate questions that are pertaining to you as a person. You're going to tell yourself look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself some truth. You're going to admit to yourself and you're going to admonish yourself to go on to win in 2023, right? This year, I told myself I'm not going to wait for anybody to motivate me. I don't need motivation. Yep. I do not need to be motivated. I don't need to be motivated. So I'm going to get work done by myself. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to end it here and I'm going to upload the recording and make it available to you guys to watch again and listen to carefully, and let some of all these things sink in. You might listen to this training over and over again before you eventually begin to pen things down, right? In the course of listening to you might get some ideas, some things might flash into your head, like if you see my note, I have bits and pieces of stuff I'm thinking about. I've not really even put my stuff together, but it's all coming together because of the information. Information is very important. You need to be informed before you take steps, right? And I'm sure that by the time I'm doing maybe a training like this next year, or maybe I'm trying to set my goals, I would have learned other things again in addition to what I currently know that's going to help me do better, in the other year. All right, thank you so much, guys, and I really do appreciate that you have learned this, you've taken note of this, and you're going to this is now going to allow you win at an extremely high level in 2023. I wish you all the very best. I wish you a blessed, beautiful, prosperous new year. Let's do big things, guys. I can't wait to celebrate you all. And for those of you that are going to be in church, please hurry up to church. Crossover service for me starts at 10, so that's why I could do this training. Regardless of everything, let's go on and win. All right. Thank you guys and enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye.